After an interesting conversation with Angel and Millie about the stranger, the implications of him being involved in Cass's death, as well as a prophecy that says, now that the last oracle's dead, y'all may not have a lot of time to get this asshole out of town before the world ends, so that's a lot. You also stumbled upon some information. You found a recording from the room where Cass was murdered, and in that recording you heard a voice, and Cole recognized that voice as belonging to Lily Blythe. She works at the hospital, and she was at work last night, so there was no way she could have been in the room. But you also remember she's mentioned having very vivid dreams of other worlds, and sometimes she would see or interact with herself in those worlds. Probably at one point thought she might be an oracle, but she's not. I will say she does have some awareness of the supernatural world, just because in Oak Ridge, everyone that lives there has some awareness of things, even if she doesn't know everything. And Cole has decided to get lunch with her, because you know around when she's gonna be going on her lunch break. Also, I think you mentioned you had a friend you wanted to check on.
Philip was one of the individuals that I kind of know from around town. We're not super close or anything, but more or less found him on a rough spot and knew that I had friends here, specifically Lily and some others, but knew enough that he would be taken care of well enough, and they would kind of fudge the books a little bit because he definitely doesn't have insurance, making sure that he's tended to. You know how they do.
Yeah, Lily knows all of the legal loopholes and ways to get people the care. She will make sure to go for the more affordable, easily accessible options for medications, and she can recommend places where people can purchase them for more affordable pricing if needed.
Definitely. So she's been kind of my go-to for just the basic stuff. If I know someone needs a little bit of treatment, she's a kind friend in that regard for them.
Yeah, she might sometimes get the students or residents to pose it like as a teaching moment. She finds ways, but she doesn't break the law.
Right.
She keeps it legal. She keeps it above board.
Oh, for sure.
Because her grandfather and her parents would probably kill her if she did anything illegal.
Yeah, it was never will be my intention to push her to ever have to resort to my methods that aren't necessarily legit sometimes, but I would never put her in the path of that just because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would assume, based on the fact that she worked the evening shift and knew she was there, having dropped Philip off, that she'd probably be having either her last break or at least coming out of her shift around this time. It is morning, so it would have made sense for me to try to get a breakfast / I've already had breakfast, so it'd be a little bit of a brunch situation where I'm going to have, maybe a cinnamon roll and a conversation with my friend Lily.
Yeah, because, she likes to take advantage of the cafeteria food sometimes before going back to her apartment and passing out for a couple of hours.
I mean, they do have rad French onion soup, so...
Yeah. She doesn't always work the night shift, but whenever someone needs a night shift cover, she volunteers, because the only thing she has to worry about at home is her cat. It's a big, fluffy, black and white cat. Very friendly.
So yeah, I would be probably pulling in to the actual medical facility there, not necessarily the ER, the urgent care, wherever it is. Just try to go to the cafeteria direct and see if I can spot her.
If you go in through the front entrance to the hospital, it's like you can see the gift shop and the cafeteria from there. It's on the other side of the building as the emergency room.
Gotcha. I would walk in, not necessarily wearing a hat, but I would definitely kind of tip my head to the gift shop clerk, someone that occasionally gives me free Dr. Peppers on my way out. You know, we have a thing like that going. But I tip my head and kind of head off into the cafeteria.
She nods to you. She tends to stockpile the cane sugar Dr. Pepper, or the special flavors Dr. Pepper that are kind of hard to find.
Oh yeah, that's my go-to. It's my Dr. Pepper dealer is this gift shop.
I said that because it was at that particular hospital cafeteria that I was introduced to the joy of cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper.
Mm.
And also back when they had the raspberry and cream.
Oh, I hadn't tried that one. Cole has. He loves it, but I haven't tried it.
This was years ago. They don't make it anymore, but the cafeteria had both of those at one point. So
yeah, I would be heading into the cafeteria now, kind of scanning the room for Lily.
Won't make you roll, because people are creatures of habit. You see her sitting at the table near where she usually sits. She looks a little tired. She's got coffee, already got her food. Is kind of fiddling with her phone, not paying a lot of attention to what's going on around her.
I'm gonna scoot into the cafeteria. The line, I imagine, has kind of dwindled at this point, this hour. Grab a cinnamon roll, because yes, please, and see if they have any medium roast with one cream, and see if I can get a seat next to Lily there.
Roll me 2d6.
Oof. Cinnamon roll check.
Just straight roll.
That's a 7.
So you are able to find a cinnamon roll, and you're able to get the coffee. They may not have the kind of cream you usually like.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the coffee's not quite as hot as it was, because it's been a bit, but it's still decently warm. It's a pleasant little meal, not as good as it would have been if you'd been in about an hour ago, but you were having a very interesting conversation about an hour ago, and maybe a little bit of an existential crisis about what do you mean the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah. Cole still doesn't believe it, but see, everyone else seems to really well, and that's convincing him enough to go along with it.
Even if John Hendricks was incorrect about the timeline, there are still lots of concerning things going on,
Mm-hmm.
so bad things could still happen, even if that is not the deadline to save the world.
Well, Cole's gonna make his way over to the table, and, what? Excuse me, Miss Lily, is this, seat here taken?
Oh, hi, Cole. Yeah, no. Go ahead. Take a seat. How's it going? Didn't expect to see you here today.
I gotta check up on old Philip, see how he's doing. Thought I'd stop in and see how you're doing, too. I know it's been pretty rough around here last little while. How's things been?
They're finally starting to calm down a bit. The last couple of orderlies who got sick are back on their feet. Thankfully, the bug that went around wasn't too bad. It was just one of all these 24-hour things that just made scheduling a nightmare. It's why this is my third night shift in a row, but hopefully I'll be able to go back to normal schedule soon.
Well, here's fingers crossed for you, but if anyone can take it, I know you can. You're tough here. You got this.
Always with the sweet talking.
Well, I filled myself up enough these cinnamon rolls. What'd you expect? Ain't nothing but sweet coming out.
They are really, really good, aren't they?
He talks, trying not to talk with his mouth full. Yeah.
You see she's got a plate on her tray that still has a little bit of icing left on it that she wasn't quite able to scrape off with her fork.
Makes sense.
Because, sometimes after it's been on there, you can't quite get it off, but you can still try.
So, how's, sorry for my intrusion here, but you told me recently you've been having some kind of crazy wackadoo dreams. How's your sleep been? You managing okay?
Yeah, they've happened off and on since I was little. It hasn't been as bad as there was one time when I think it was like 13, where I dreamed that I woke up in a different place. But then I fell back asleep and I woke up in my bed. That was weird though, dreaming that I woke up in the middle of the woods. That was strange. They still happen every so often. I have confirmed that I'm not one of those oracles, because I still have some sanity left, and I don't know, it's been weird, but nothing I'm not used to.
I still don't know if I buy the whole oracle thing, but honestly, if that is the case, if they are walking around like they say they are, I'd for your sake, honestly, I'd kind of be glad I wasn't one.
Yeah, early on, and when I was still in school, in one of my shifts, I had to do a rotation over in I'm blanking on the name. So there's a hospital that is for, it's for mental health problems. I just can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I did a rotation there, and we had someone in, I think they might have been in Oracle, and they were in such distress. It was tough to see, but we were able to get them calmed down, and got a friend who checked in with them later after they moved out of the city, and they're fine. Can't imagine what it's like having all of that in your head. And then again, most of this magic stuff, she says quietly, is a little bit over my head. I've just stopped questioning it.
It does seem kind of miserable. I mean, sure, sounds great and all, being able to see little things and maybe have a little advantage, maybe work the stock market, I mean, you might not do that, but I think it'd be miserable, though. Always having thoughts in your head that ain't thoughts you wanted to think, or I don't know. That doesn't sound like it's for me.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I never understood why it's always so weird here. I've always wondered, what is it about this city in particular that causes such havoc for the oracles? I know this sounds strange, and it was strange before all this magic stuff started happening. That's what my parents told me. But I just always wondered why Oak Ridge in particular. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Oh, you're good. I don't know. I've seen a lot coming up. My childhood wasn't exactly a thing to write about. At least not a pretty thing to write about. It always seems like people here, they either have nothing but heart, or they're nothing but cold, dead terribleness inside. I feel like that it's got to be that way everywhere, but it seems like it's even worse here for some reason. And some of the travels or just getting around, ain't never quite seen a place quite like Oak Ridge here. And everyone wants to say it's something to do with magics or oracles, or I don't quite get how any of that works here or why here, but it does seem to be here, and the best we can do is deal with it on a day-to-day basis best we can. I mean, you couldn't have told me a couple years ago that oracles telling futures, telling prophecies, we got, I don't know, a whole mess of different kind of creatures saying they're creatures would actually be a thing. But honestly, I think they've been here all along, and I was just the dumb one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not agreeing.
You're not supposed to agree to that. Just for that, you owe me a cinnamon roll.
She just slides a $5 bill across the table. Yeah, sorry about that. I was more agreeing to maybe they've been here all along, because I don't know. My parents and my granddad have mentioned something about seeing people that may be more than they appear, but I just learned to never question it. People are what they are, and even if it's something you don't quite understand, nothing wrong with that.
There's something special about you, though, you think? Those dreams you've been having? Sure, they might just be dreams, but what if I told you? Nah, it's silly. You were here, though, last night, right?
Yeah? Just getting off the night shift.
I mean, you stayed here all night. Like, you didn't leave, take a break, go off down the road, get a little bit of fresh air. You were here in the hospital all night.
I mean, I stepped outside from one of my 15-minute breaks just to get a breath of fresh air, but I stayed on the property. Why are you asking?
Well, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but then again, maybe you won't. There's a friend of mine. I'm sure you knew them, but I don't know. There's a recording that I heard last night, and I'd be willing to bet basically my life, as much as that possibly could be worth, as little as it may be, that it was you on that recording, but there's no way it was you. You was here.
Yeah, I was here all night. I mean, heard people mention thinking they saw me other places where I wasn't, but this one's a new one.
Yeah, it couldn't have been you. You was here, but I swear to you, Lily, I swear on the god of cinnamon rolls himself, I heard your voice on that recording. Now, you say you're having dreams, you're popping into weird places, you've got strange things happening, and people say they're seeing you places you ain't been.
Oh, keep in mind, there was also a time I was in a pawn shop and I could have sworn I saw someone run through and just disappear.
You know, I've seen that too.
This is a weird town.
Yeah.
Actually, spent a lot of time one summer trying to figure out what made this town so weird, and I read one book, something about slaying Kronos. Weird book. I just got it because the cover looked cool, but apparently the person who wrote it thought that Oak Ridge is weird because of time travel experiments.
Now, okay. If I could go in the future, now we're talking.
Apparently, I think it might be someone. It might have been scientists sending people back and not causing splits. But as far as I know, time travel's not anything the people here have looked into.
You trying to tell me they're sending Terminators? You trying to tell me right now? Is this you telling me you're a Terminator?
Well, last time I checked, I'm just an ordinary person who happens to sometimes see weird shit on their shift.
Okay. I'm watching you, though. Second you start roboing out, I'm gonna get Arnold over here to deal with you.
She just rolls her eyes as someone walking by, but just gives you a strange look, but they keep going.
Look, joking aside, there's definitely something going on in this town that I don't understand, and I guarantee, like I said, that was you on that recording, but that couldn't have been you. Something is amiss, and somehow it's using your face, I don't know. You gotta be careful for your sake. I mean, people are dying around here and disappearing faster than I can keep track of, and you're too good a people for me to have to see that.
Thanks, Cole. Where did you say you heard this recording, though?
Oh, well, I don't recall.
Is there a role for lying to somebody?
I am not sure. I'm pretty sure there is.
Roll to mislead, distract, or trick. You are trying to mislead her. Roll with mind.
Oh boy. No! That's an 8 plus 1, so 9.
Okay, on a 7 to 9, pick 2. You create an opportunity to expose a weakness or flaw, confuse them for some time, or avoid further entanglement. I think avoid further entanglement might be kind of like get her to drop that part of the conversation.
I want to drop entanglement to where she drops this, and I want to create an opportunity, basically saying, I'll try to play this out for you, see if I can. Let's go.
Okay, let's do this.
Well, Lily, I don't quite remember or really know where the recording came from, per se. I guess that's the best way to answer that. I will say, you need to keep tabs. If people say they start seeing you, or start hearing you, or even you yourself, you got your little doctor book there. Maybe make little notes. We can have another one of these cinnamon rolls around an after shift sit down, and we can try to piece together some of what's going on. Maybe understand what's happening with you.
I mean, I think it might just be weird dreams caused by ambient magic and leftover radiation, but yeah.
I don't disagree necessarily, Lily, but there's too many strange things happening, like I said, and too many people disappearing that I'm not willing to see a good one go to waste, and you gotta stick around. If you catch what I'm trying to say.
I'm catching part of it, but what strange things have got you so worried?
Well,
what's going on, Cole?
You know people have been disappearing, right?
You might have heard something. Sometimes people just kind of drop off a bit or go quiet, but actually, wait, hang on. I'm gonna roll a thing, so give me high or low?
Low.
Well, I mean, I've heard some people talking about a couple people going missing.
See, my first thought was just they want to get out of town. And honestly, I get that. I understand that. That was my first instinct was just trying to move on to bigger and better. But I don't know. I've heard rumor that some of the ones went disappearing weren't actually out of town. They were here, but they were different. Not necessarily dead, not necessarily alive. I don't really know, and honestly, I can't tell you why they're not here in the first place, but that's got nothing to do with me. If people are getting hurt, if people are out there losing themselves somehow to some weird magics that I don't understand and won't even pretend to try to act like I do, I just think that it is every reason to keep tabs, keep track on the steps we take, and whether or not we're getting a little too close to the dark. Life's kind of like a weird dance.
You're sounding mighty ominous, Cole. Have you tried taking any of us to the people in charge over on the weird side of things? You can read that as the magical council people.
I think they're working on it, but I don't much see them wanting my help with nothing. They're a little bit too goody two-shoes, if you know what I mean. They seem to think they got it all sorted out, but sometimes it's a simpler answer that gets the problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about them. I'm keeping more of an eye on things over here. Got a bit of different people running this side of things. I'm pretty sure not all the people here are human, but they all do good work, so I just don't question it that much.
Yeah, I mean, I got eyes and ears here and a little bit of everywhere. I'm going to be keeping an ear out to see if there's any mullings and stranger things happening, but for your sake, if you hear anything, why don't you got my number.
What am I supposed to be listening for?
Let's just say things that don't smell quite as sweet as the cinnamon roll.
Any names in particular I need to be looking for?
Would I know, actual names to give?
Cass did mention a few names.
Yeah.
And you know that they found Hawk and Darren. You know Bart and Roz are still missing.
But I don't think they ever brought the vessels, is what I'm calling them at this point. I don't think they ever, took them to a hospital. I think they just kind of, have them at the shop.
Yeah, no, they're at the shop.
Yeah. So I'm not listing names, because I ain't trying to implicate anybody on nothing.
Well, there's still two people that you don't know that no one knows where they are.
Well, I know Roz, she's still missing, and then Bart is another one I heard of that's been missing as well. I'd keep an ear to the ground for those, but besides that, it's really just kind of wondering what's going on with you.
Give me another high or low.
Ooh, high this time.
Okay.
I don't know why that's my reaction for every roll.
So I've just been rolling a d6 to determine if things will happen, and that time I got a 6, so when you say Roz, she's like, you wouldn't happen to mean Rosalind Stollard, would you?
The one in the sign?
Well, you didn't hear it from me, but someone was out walking their dog, and they found her unconscious in the woods. She's in the ER as far as I know. She's comatose. I've just heard mutterings, but...
What woods? Where'd they find her? You know?
I mean, they were just kind of out of town. Apparently, a couple people that have, like, a couple cabins over in that area.
Over by Lazy Man Bluff area down there?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just making that up. I don't really know.
Could just be a nickname for a place.
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I might have to go over there at some point and see if I can figure out if there's something about that area, because I know strange things have been happening out in those woods. People getting hurt and whatnot. At least from rousings I've been picking up on. Maybe I take a look out there. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I stay as far away from there as I can. But if I get a hankering to get a little action, I might see what's going on down there.
I do recommend being careful. There's been... You ever get an uneasy feeling? Like something's coming? Like there's about to be a storm or something? Kind of like when you step outside and you can feel the rain in the air, but it's not quite like that. Can't quite put my finger on it, but...
It's familiar.
Past couple months I've just felt uneasy. Like there's something weird. I haven't been able to figure out why. The only thing I know weird that happened around the time I started feeling like this was that random stranger person showed up.
Everyone keeps talking about this stranger.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to figure out who he is.
Have you seen him?
I mean, not that I know of. If I passed him on the street, don't know if I'd know, but I don't think so. I've been pretty busy with work. But I know people who have, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
The little notebook I told you about, start writing things down in.
Yeah?
Maybe you make a little subsection. Just title it The Stranger. And let's see if we can figure out some details of what we're working with. I'm asking you, because let's be honest, you're more in the know than most people around here. You got people coming in here on the regular with some kind of side story to tell.
Yeah, we do get a lot of weird stories in here, that's for sure.
The thing about weird stories is, as with everything else in life, it seems to be there's patterns. Maybe that enough of those stories have enough patterns we can start putting pieces together on who the stranger might be.
Yeah, now that you mention patterns, you weren't the first person to ask me about the stranger.
Oh?
What was her name? I think her name was Cass.
Huh.
She came to me several months ago with a weird story about seeing me in the woods or something. She's one of the people who saw me somewhere that I wasn't, but we've been talking off and on. I know she was nervous about him.
Yeah. So, Cass saw you in the woods. Did you say it's the last time you talked to Cass?
I think I ran into her at Walmart. I think it was like a couple weeks ago. Just buying groceries. Asked her how she was doing. She seemed a little more agitated and surly than normal.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad for her. Can't be easy. I get the feeling she's one of those oracles. The fact that she's still here is impressive.
Yeah. I feel bad for her too.
Maybe I should check in on her sometime, see how she's doing.
No. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Roll to keep your cool.
Sure.
Because I get the feeling you're trying to not have your face give away what happened.
Ah!
Because you did listen to her die this morning, so.
Uh-huh. I certainly did. No bonus for spirit, so 6.
You try and play it cool. But Lily just looks at you and says, Cole, do you know something I don't?
No. I swear. He just gets more and more like sheepish look. Not in a happy way. He's not a great liar, even though he occasionally does.
Has anyone ever told you were a terrible liar? What happened?
My moms may have said something about that before.
What aren't you telling me?
You know that recording I heard you on?
Yeah?
Well, you interested in taking a walk?
Where to?
Well, it might be time we head down to the theater, and I might be able to play that for you.
Peter heard something bad happened down there last night.
Yeah, something bad did happen.
Did something happen to Cass?
I think it might be best for you just to hear the recording.
Tempest Multi is a production of Pseudonym Social, changing reality one story at a time. It is an actual play podcast using Urban Shadow's 2E Quick Start Guide, and it's set once again in the town of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I am your keeper and producer.
I am Blaze, and I'll be playing Jason Madison Coleman, the Aware.
To get more information on this or any of our other shows, check out our website at pseudonymsocial.com.